up? I am MuchelleB, and there are like a lot of things that you can do in life to make yourself happier, more interesting, more content. You could read more, learn more, spend more time in the sun, gratitude journal, work on your goals. But probably the number one thing stopping you from actually doing all of those things is you wasting time doing things that don't actually matter. So in this video, I want to talk about 9 ways that you can stop wasting your time, start picking up habits that actually matter, and start doing things that you actually care about. Number 1, swap what you're doing for something better. Probably the simplest way to take advantage of the time that you currently waste. So while you're doing your makeup, rather than watching like mindless YouTube videos in the background, listen to an interesting podcast on how to learn something in 20 hours, or something inspiring like a Tony Robbins interview. Swap watching Netflix for watching a website like Skillshare. This video is sponsored by Skillshare. As you guys know, I'm a fan of Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with over 15,000 classes in things like photography, design, videography. There's watercolor painting tutorials, hand lettering tutorials, all kinds of things. You can take a class, teach a class, try a project. Premium membership starts at $10 a month for unlimited access, and you can use my link in the description down below to get 2 months free. So rather than getting home and chucking on a Netflix show that you're not really that into anyways, because there's nothing good on Netflix right now, get home and chuck on a site like Skillshare and watch a course on like how to give a great presentation. It's basically about swapping something that you already currently do for something very similar in nature, so it doesn't sort of feel like you're losing out, but you're doing something that is better and is helping you get to where you want to go. Tip number 2, this is a simple one, but turn off your phone. For me, my worst weakness is my phone. It is so easy for me to be sucked into just like an hour of scrolling through my Facebook and tagging people in memes. And then I just look up and I'm like, whoa, like where did the time go? What am I doing here? So you can approach turning off your phone in that way. So turning it off whenever you have a task to complete, or just have set times when your phone is just off. So like from 5 a.m. to 10 a.m. your phone is off, and from 6 p.m. onwards your phone is off. That way you kind of force yourself to turn to doing something like picking up a book and reading. Tip number 3, actually cut off all social media. So if you're working at a computer, you can use an app like Stay Focused. It restricts the amount of time that you can spend on websites like Facebook, so you give yourself an allocated time of like 10 minutes. So once your 10 minutes is up, you can't access Facebook again for the rest of the day. Tip number 4, have set times that you do your housework. I was talking to a girl the other day and she was saying she'll sit down to do work, and then out of the corner of her eye she'll see the dishes, and she'll just really quickly like chuck them in the dishwasher, and then she'll see the laundry and decide to put on a load of laundry, and all of a sudden she's like scrubbing the shower and her house is spotless. So if you find that you're wasting time when you're meant to be doing something by just distracting yourself with housework, set yourself a time when you do that housework. So have 10 minutes of a morning when you go around and you make sure that your dishes are in the dishwasher, you clean off the benches. And then for me, I have like my Sunday routine, which is usually when I do all of my washing and all of those bits and pieces. So that way when you sit down to do the work, you don't feel tempted to do other stuff, which is technically productive, but it's not what you should be doing. Tip number 5, when you aren't into something, stop doing it. Every time that you accept an invitation to an event that you don't want to go to, start a project that you're not really that into, feel this burning need to complete a book that you don't like, you're spending your time doing stuff that isn't valuable to you. For those of you who have a problem with overcommitting, a good mantra is, if it isn't a hell yes, it's a no. I'll link the article to that down below. Your time is precious. Spend it consuming stuff that you want to consume, and spend it going to events that you actually want to go to. Tip number 6 is check in with yourself on the hour. So if you're someone that gets easily distracted and you end up like down a wormhole of articles every time that you try to do things, try setting a reminder on your phone or on your computer for every hour. Whenever the timer goes off, look back at your to-do list and refocus your energy. Tip number 7 is to actually know what you're doing. If you sit down to do something and you don't actually know what it is that you are meant to be doing, you're going to be easily distracted. Before you set out to work, write down your task, and if it's a task that requires any more than one step, write out all of the baby tasks underneath it. Break it down so that it's easier for you to approach and you're less likely to head off and waste your time doing other things. Tip number 8, if you have a problem that is wasting your time, fix it. If you find that something's frustrating you to the point where you're spending like an abnormal amount of time getting frustrated about it, or even just working around it, do something about it. For example, at work, I know I've done this before. You might have like a ton of calls, or you might have a ton of issues come up around a certain aspect of your work. You're sick of it, you're wasting so much time on it. How can you actually improve it so that it's not taking up so much of your time? And my last tip, tip number 9, is don't listen to everyone all the time, including me. If you listen to enough lifestyle bloggers and YouTubers, and I'm not forgetting that I am one of those people, you will feel a genuine desire to meditate, do yoga, run, write morning pages, bullet journal, journal, wake up early, and make a handmade acai bowl from only raw ingredients every single day. There is a lot of stuff that is pushed out into the world as like things that you absolutely must do, and they're all good as suggestions. Some of it might not actually work for you, and instead it'll just waste your time. As an example of this, journaling by just brain dumping and putting out all of my thoughts on paper, it doesn't do too much for me. I love journaling when it's like a time of need and I can see why it would be valuable, but doing it daily didn't do that much for me. I almost feel guilty saying this because it's such a widespread habit as like a life-changing thing. You might totally love journaling but feel the exact same way about writing down a list of 5 things you're grateful for. You don't feel grateful at all when you write them down. It doesn't work for you, but doing it weekly works. Or maybe you think bullet journaling just seems like a whole bunch of effort and you would much rather have a journal with a set out template that makes it easier for you. Yoga might save your life, bullet journaling could transform your daily habits, but don't always feel like you need to do it all. And when you do something and you do it for a while, give it a good go and it doesn't work for you, don't feel guilty for dropping it. It might just not be your thing. Don't forget to check out the link from Skillshare in the description down below. If you have any ideas for how you've stopped wasting time of the day, leave them in the comment section down below. I appreciate you guys so much and I will see you soon.